If you've gone through divorce, I just need to know, does it get easier? Does it get easier being without your kids? Because all I can do every time is cry. No matter what I do, I always end up crying the whole time. Please tell me it gets better because I can't do this. This is the last day in my house that I've lived at for the last 8 years. And I'm packing, I'm loading things up in my car. And I'm just feeling everything. I'm documenting everything and sharing with you guys how hard it is, but it can be done. It can be done. If you're in a similar situation of wanting to end a relationship or marriage, it's going to be very, very hard, but it is possible. I move out officially tomorrow, but I've just been in here in the house while no one else is here. And I just have all these memories running through my head. And it just sucks. It just sucks right now.
If you expect someone to make you happy, you will never be happy. Narcissists are never happy because they blame others for their bad choices instead of taking responsibility for their own decisions.
My 8-year relationship with my ex-husband and what I have been through in the last 2 years post-divorce with him has changed me forever. I can barely sleep. I mean, it's 4:30 in the morning. I woke up at 4. I can't go back to sleep. So I'll get up and start folding laundry, which is not normal. And that's being on a medication for sleep. I take Lexapro now. I have a heart medication for my panic attacks. I have never had any of these issues before what started happening to me. This has been, unfortunately, probably life-changing. I shake all the time. I cry a lot. I mostly cry for my kids. Because I see how it affects them and how unfair it is. And I don't know what to do. To fix it for them. And I don't want them to grow up like this. I'm a fixer by nature, so I always want to fix everything for everybody. And I look at my situation and I don't know how to fix it for my kids. I know that everybody says divorce is hard, which divorce is hard, okay? You have to make a lot of sacrifices just to get out of it. A lot. But what I feel like isn't talked about enough is post-divorce abuse. It's way harder than divorce. Because now that person that doesn't have control over you uses your kids as pawns and weapons to still control you and to hurt you. Because they know that that's the only thing that you care about. Is your kids. I know that I'll be stronger because of this, but right now, sometimes I'm just why me? Because I'm such a good person and I love people. And I love my kids, so I don't understand, why or how somebody can be so mean just so mean. Like, he watched me as a mother. I delivered 2 of my own babies. Like, I stayed home with them. I never worked. I never had a nanny unless they were sleeping. I nursed all of them for as long as I could. I raised my first son by myself. It just sucks. It does. It sucks. So I guess the lesson to be learned would be pick very wisely the human that you have children with, because if you pick the wrong one, they'll make you miserable, and they'll make your experience of motherhood miserable because they're sick.
So I'm currently getting divorced from this guy, all right? And we're on good terms. It's not that big of a deal. But I'm sitting here right now. I'm building this shelving thing that I got, okay? And I'm just sitting here listening to some oldies music, screwing in all the screws by hand because I do not have a screwdriver, okay? And I'm doing it by hand. And as I'm like screwing every little tiny thing in, I keep thinking about how anytime that we had to build anything or do anything in this kind of realm of things, it was such a fucking fight. It was a nightmare. It was just, he would get overwhelmed so quickly and he would get angry and he would take it out on me. And like, he would never listen to me. He would never listen to me about anything. Like, I would be like, this is how you do it. This is what the instruction says. And he didn't give a fuck. He wouldn't listen. And eventually I learned, because I was with him for about 16 years, married, 20 years together. And eventually I just learned just not to say anything. I would just watch him continuously fail. And then I would just slightly nudge him in that direction and make it seem like it was his idea to figure out, I don't know, like follow the goddamn instructions. I don't know. But the thing that I'm the most frustrated about right now, as I'm thinking about this, is not the fact that we are separated and each living our own lives. It's the fact that currently right now my kids are with him, and he's at his mama's house. He's living at his mom's house, and he just built a patio, like with pavers in this old area that used to be like a sandbox area at his house. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I don't go over there. I don't know anything more than what my kids are telling me. And I'm just like, you know how I wanted him to do so many of these different types of things in our own home together, where we would be able to achieve that. Not even together. I just wanted him to be able to fucking do it. Like, I wanted a patio set. Like, we literally bought this awning that it has been in my garage now for 4 years. I'm not even kidding. It is still in the boxes, and it's taking up all of the space, and it's been in my garage for 4 years, and he just never did it. I was so excited to get it. Like, when we bought it, it was like over $1,000 fucking dollars that we bought this thing, and I was so excited. We bought it in summer. We were going to put it up, and then it was always these excuses. Always these excuses. Oh, well, we got to redo the cement, and oh my God, I can't do it by myself. I got to think about it. No, I had all of these things. And he just never took like action towards it at all. He didn't like go hire somebody to redo this cement. He didn't even figure out like himself. Like, he wouldn't do anything. He wouldn't do anything. And it would become this fight. And it got to the point that I just didn't even care anymore. That's why that fucking thing is in my garage for 4 years now. I don't even know what it looks like anymore. I don't even know if I even want it anymore. At this point, like, I'm thinking, like, I don't even want to fucking build it. I just want to take it out of my goddamn garage. But I fell in love with his potential, and it was so frustrating because I knew that he was capable of doing things. Like, I knew he was fucking capable of doing things. And now he's over there building a little patio with pavers and doing it all by hand on himself. And good for him. That is so exciting. I'm so proud of him that he realized his potential of being an adult. But I suffered for fucking 16 years trying to convince this person to do anything, just to take some small action towards anything. That, like, we couldn't even fucking put this shelving together. We wouldn't have been able to succeed. It would have been hours. It would be hours of us just like bickering and fighting and me just finally giving up. And I'm like, I truly am like living my best life without him, and he is going to figure out how to live his best life without me. And But like when I do these types of things, I think about that. I just think about how like he was so incapable of doing anything functional for us, for me, for our family. And now without us, all of a sudden he became an adult. All of a sudden he can fucking build a fucking goddamn patio. Like all of a sudden. And it was like, oh, I work all the time and I do all these things and I never can do this and I can't do it myself and I do it. Always just excuses after excuses after excuses that I just eventually learned that I was on my own. And that if I ever wanted anything to be accomplished, it was me, that I had to figure out how to do it, and I would do it by myself. But then I would have to do it by myself when he wasn't around. Like I'd have to wait until I'd have these pockets of moments where there was nobody around so that I would be able to accomplish something. And it's just like, it's so frustrating to see that the only issue that there was is that he didn't want to do it for me. That he didn't want to do it for us. That he didn't want to fight for any of that. And I would see that, and I would see that, and I would see his potential, and I knew that he was capable of it, that he could be this amazing person, and he would be able to achieve all of these amazing things, and we would be able to live this life that we would. But he didn't want to do that with me because he just didn't like me. He wouldn't take time off work because he didn't want to spend time with me. He wouldn't do things for our family because he didn't want to spend time with us. But then when I left, he begged me, pleaded with me, said that he would change and do all of these things with me. And at that point, it was just too late. And I'm not upset that he is finding his potential now and choosing action now. I'm not upset about that. I'm grieving the fact that he just didn't want to do that with me. That I wasn't good enough in his life, in his eyes, that our family wasn't worth it, wasn't worth the energy and the effort or any of that kind of stuff. And I learned to live alone while married. I learned to parent alone while married. I was a single married woman, and I put up with that for fucking far too long. But these types of things trigger me because I'm so much better without him. And he's going to be so much better without me. But like, why couldn't you just fucking function? Like, why couldn't it just be where we were together? And I don't even fucking want him back. Like, I don't want him back at all in any form, in any way. But I do not like the fact that I have to grieve over the fact that he never chose me. That he never chose us. Anyways, I'm building this fucking shelf and it's going to be cool. I can't wait to show you.
Women make bad financial and life decisions based on emotions. They're the perfect target audience for advertisers. Facts. Many women live above their means and expect men to share the financial burden.
I'm a single mom of a 2.5-year-old. I've been split up from my ex for about 10 months now. I still get hit hard sometimes with the grief and the loneliness of it all. Like, I took him to the park and we were playing alone for a long time, and he was saying cute things, funny things, and I was texting my mom and my sister and, telling them what he said, and then another family comes and it's a mom, a dad, and a son his age. And they're all three playing together, and the kid says something funny and they both laugh and look at each other and talk about it. And I literally had to leave the park because I started sobbing. Because I grieve that life so hard. You can have all the support in the world. You can have the best parents, the best family. But nothing replaces that relationship you have with a spouse. Mommy. And your kid. And sometimes it just feels so overwhelming that it still feels so heavy. and that the guilt still eats away at me, even though I know it was the right decision. Just the guilt that I can't give my son, like, that life.
There are no phones connected. Connect a phone and try
Uh-oh.
again.
It feels really heavy and really overwhelming still. And sometimes I just feel really tired. This is all to say, if you're doing this too, you're not alone. Like, it freaking sucks. I don't know when it's supposed to get easier. I don't know if it ever will. I don't know if this is just the pain I feel forever. But if it is, I feel it with you.
The day the music died and I miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, "This'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die."
Modern women are so self-absorbed and naive that they will blow up the family, ruin the inheritance, and run with the money because they are driven to make bad choices for everyone.
Anniversary today, and because this date has been ingrained in me for so long, of course it was the first thing that I thought about when I woke up this morning. And then I realized, yeah, we're still technically married, but this is far from being a celebratory anniversary. We're knee deep in the middle of a divorce. He's waking up in someone else's bed while I'm here, and it hit me harder than I thought it would. And I don't know.
End of sentence. Because of so many reasons. Co-parenting is not working. He hates me. You don't have to like me, but he won't communicate with me. He won't do anything. And then today, like, he just lied to our doctor for the kids. And I don't know how to fix it. And he triggers me in every way. And I feel really alone. So I can't go to my mom, because if I go to my mom, I'm just going to get a lecture and told that I'm not doing enough, and like I'm not doing it the right way, and that, you know, I just need to like put my foot down and like blah 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 and all these other things. And okay, it doesn't matter what I say to him, because it literally goes in one ear and out the other, and he doesn't want to hear it, and he doesn't want to like come to the table and actually problem solve. He just wants to make it my fault, which is, it's his fault at this point. Like at this moment in time,
I mean, what he's doing, I want to stop wanting to tell him about my day. I want to stop missing my good morning and good night texts. I want to stop longing for his presence. But at the same time, I don't want to stop any of that. God, that sounds so crazy.
Trying to cry on TikTok. I need your help. I woke up nonstop crying about my ex, missing him so much. And I'm overwhelmed that I will always feel this way, or that this person will always cross my mind. Again, I'm trying to not just cry on this app. I don't have health insurance at the moment, so I don't have a therapist. I have friends who've been really great. I just don't know how to get through today.
Are you kidding me?
How do you get through where your brain just can't stop thinking?
So I just received a really interesting message, and this person says that my life looks so great and that he's gonna unfollow me because I'm practically gloating. It wasn't a criticism. I don't take it that way. But I do wonder, like, what videos are you watching? Because this is not easy. Coming out later in life to my family, the first person in my family to come out, coming out to people of church, losing that community, losing the stability of an 18-year relationship that I needed to leave anyways, but the stability, this is scary. So if anyone thinks that, like, I got my shit together, I don't. I have no idea what I am doing. So that's my reality. I'm strong and I'm bold and I'm aggressive and all those things, but I'm also sensitive and grieving. So yeah.
It's a trap. They do want you broke and childless. They're buying shares in cat food and wine companies, and that's no joke. Most women are unhappy and blame men for their unhappiness. We are responsible for our own happiness.
今天已经办完那个离婚登记了，就是下午办的，下午赶在民政局下班之前，然后下午2点多钟的时候，对方开车到我们单位来了，然后我就跟他拿结婚证一起回去，中间登记完以后就让我把这些彩礼和钱都退给他，然后呢，按照之前约定的是，从认识以来的每一分钱都退给他。每一次闹分手都是有这个要求，因为那是他的老婆本。然后我也同意了退。在走的过程中，因为那个钱是我上个星期带到他们家的现金，是我的嫁妆，所以我就想去把它抢回来。肯定是心里不舒服的呀。然后在抢的过程中发生了一些拉扯，我大概现在这里面都是一些软组织擦伤吧，这个倒没关系，只是我不知道自己要怎么走出来，因为现在已经3点半了，怎么睡都睡不着。不管你尝试什么办法都睡不着，快4点了。最要命的是，我明天要陪一个非常重要的领导出去办一件事儿。我没有洗头，没有洗澡，然后睡又睡不着，我也不知道我要怎么办。然后我现在也没有办法去洗头洗澡，因为我室友睡了，如果我去洗头洗澡的话，就会把他吵醒来，我就只能等到早上大概是9点多钟吧，我们领导开完会就要跟他过去，然后明天过几个小时我眼睛肯定是肿的，但是我们单位的人都知道我刚结完婚，所以肯定会跟我说一些结婚的事啊，你老公是什么干嘛的呀，大概肯定会说这些，我不知道要怎么办。我今天还收到了别人送给我的新婚礼物，然后发生了很多事，整体而言就是因为一段视频导致的离婚，我真的是万万没有想到。
Women are conditioned for instant gratification. They want instant happiness, wealth, fame, luxury, and comfort. They want perfection in men while they hardly bring anything to the table except perhaps their physical selves.
60 to 70% of divorces are initiated by women after the age of 40. Let that hit you in the face. Women are straight up dumping their husbands once the kids are grown and the hormones start doing backflips and cartwheels. This is the latest data. Women initiate about 69% of divorces, and among couples over 50, that gray divorce, that number stays roughly the same, around 66 to 70%. And in many cases, men are blindsided while the woman was emotionally checked out long before the papers were filed. Why? Here's the brutal truth. The first reason is she is done with your If you stopped taking her on dates, stopped taking care of yourself, came home, grabbed the phone, cracked the beer, ate the chips, and zoned out on the game while she handled the house, the kids, the emotions, everything, she's over it. You became her roommate with a friggin' pulse. She's tired of being your maid and or your mom, and she knows that she deserves better. The second reason, if you married her at 22, what did you expect to happen 30 years later? She's a completely different person. New passions, new confidence, new boundaries. If you did not grow with her, if you stayed stuck in the same habits, you weren't improving yourself, your sex game went stale, you stopped being adventurous, she got bored. She evolved and you didn't. And she's not settling for that old version of you anymore. Third reason is menopause. That's the final straw. Her hormones flip, her tolerance crashes, every ignored problem explodes. And if you are not helping her level her hormones, she's gone. And the fourth reason, she's got her own money. She's also have her own friends and her own life, and you let her work like a man just like you. And then why would she depend on you anymore? She was a wife, a mom, and busting her ass, working full time every day for years. She carried it all. Now she's fried. No more staying for the kids or the mortgage. She's gone. Here's a little bit of more data for you. Post-divorce, only 27% of women regret it. Men, 39% do. So more women are happy that they chose to divorce versus the ones who didn't. And here's some instruction for you. Don't marry young and clueless. Date long. Grow together. Step up every day. Dates, effort, self-care, adventure, intimacy, and polarity. And communicate. Evolve. Talk and be honest with her. Or watch her walk away once she hits 40.
70% of divorces are initiated by women. And as a divorce lawyer, I can tell you that women are not divorcing men because they're bored or ungrateful. They're divorcing because they're tired of doing everything. In marriages where both partners are college educated, that number actually jumps to 90%. But why? What is making these women walk away in such high numbers? Well, the answer is simple. Women are expected to work like they have no children and parent like they have no job. They're expected to be the emotional support system, the household manager, the one who remembers birthdays, doctor's appointments, and what shoe size the children wear. Meanwhile, many men still believe that just providing a paycheck is enough, but it's not. Women are not leaving because they hate marriage. They're leaving because they're exhausted. They're tired of doing all the invisible labor that no one acknowledges. They're tired of being expected to handle everything while their husband thinks he's helping when he loads the dishwasher once a week. Most women do not leave for another man. They leave for themselves. They leave because they refuse to live another decade feeling like a single mother while being married.
Studies actually show that most women are afraid to speak up about regretting their divorce, as society coddles most men and women to act like divorce is a normal, everyday function, which it isn't.
Why are women more likely to initiate divorce faster than men? Good question. I got an answer for you. Let's get into it. Women tend to test higher in the trait neuroticism, one of the big 5 traits. This trait means that women are more sensitive to negative emotions, i.e., deep levels of anxiety. 1 unit of stress, there are several units of negative emotion attached to it. What does that mean, Sam? Women are more likely to feel unhappy faster because some women tend to ruminate, i.e. focus on the negative, find it very hard to get out of that negative space. Some researchers think that because the world is a more dangerous place for women and that women have had to care for dependents, that neurotic trait helps them to be more sensitive to negative emotion and negative environments to care for their children.
70% of divorces are initiated by the women. These are women who are usually highly educated. They know what they want in a partner. This is what it says from the stats, is that often these are already women who have a life. You're slacking. I'm the one who's picking up everything. And so women are more likely to leave when they're unhappy. Men are more likely to be just left blindsided a bit because they're like, well, I was happy.
The men are not the problem, really. This is what the feminists marched for. Women would have to give men their man card back and agree to be submissive and follow the man's lead. It's hard to undo what the feminist movement has destroyed.
Here is why women initiate 70% of the divorces. Women are very inherently weak. They can't really handle pressure, high stakes. That's why they don't invent anything. That's why they don't create anything in the modern world or in the prehistoric world. They don't have what it takes. And so when things get hard and you have social media and you have friends and influences and you have all this other attention, why would they stick it out? When they have government support in terms of financing and money, why would they stick it out? Why would they stick it out when they just get divorced, get money so they can live and be quote unquote free? It makes no sense for them to stay. That's why it's a scam.
Women can leave relationships.
Are women asking for divorce now more so than men are?
Yes, women are more likely to precipitate divorce than men. About 2 to 1, I think.
Wow. I mean, that's an indication of something. It's an indication of a healthy freedom.
Yeah. Exit power. I mean, that's what an economist would call it, right? And that's a massive sign of success, that women can leave relationships in a way that they couldn't before because they were trapped economically. And so this kind of economic trap that was marriage, which the women's movement really took aim at and just said this institution of marriage is basically a way to trap and oppress women in relationships of economic dependency, where she'll be powerless because he has the money, right? That feminist critique of traditional marriage was profound and correct. And the results have been extraordinary in unbundling that and giving women economic power. Because without economic power, women don't have choice about marriage. So now we've got this massive rise in women's choice as to whether to marry, who to marry, whether to have kids, who to have kids with, etc. And so you've seen this massive expansion of women's choice and power, which is magnificent and destabilizing, especially for men. Both of those things can be true at once. It can be creating these unintended destabilizing consequences for men. And if we then add to that a danger sometimes to either mock men or masculinity, almost pathologize them in humor, but sometimes maybe not so much in humor as well, I think that just doubles down on this sense. It's like, not only are you not needed, but maybe you're actually a bit toxic. Of all the moments to not be really kind of making sure that men feel really bad about themselves, this is not that moment.
Why do 70% of women initiate divorce? What could it be? Maybe women initiate divorces more often because more and more often we're finding guys aren't living their masculine role. Nowadays, guys don't want to open car doors. Guys don't want to pay for the meal. Guys don't want to be a man. They want to be an equal. That's what feminism has done. It caused basically all the women to become more masculine and all the men to become more feminine. Nowadays, they don't even get to stay home and take care of the kids. They got to go out and produce and then come home and take care of the kids. And more and more and more, as masculinity gets beat down and real men disappear, no wonder they have a higher initiation of divorce. They realize that marriage is not in their benefit anymore. So how do we rectify this? Well, how about we go back to the old ways of doing things, where the men take care of the women, provide and protect the children. They go out and go to work. Women, they get to kick back at home, take care of the kids, which, by the way, is a job in and of itself. And they're not expected to go out to work.
Let me guess. You filed for divorce because he was too nice and didn't cause you any drama. Then you got bored. I'll take another guess. She thought everyone in the dating world was having too much fun, and she thought she was missing out.
You say that 80% of divorces are initiated by the woman. So what can men do about this, and why is it?
Nothing.
So there's nothing that men can do.
Good luck. Because the issue is you're fighting against a system that's not really for you. The problem we have is if a girl sleeps with more than 5 people, her chance of being in a happy relationship is roughly 20%. Now, the issue is you're now marrying women that have a 20% chance of having a happy marriage. And that's the quote unquote good women, right?
So why is that though? That 20%? Is that because they're thinking about the other partners that they've had and they're not quite sure if the one they've settled with is the best choice?
I would argue it's the psychology of choice. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I would argue that women, it's like we have more sexual agency in our early 20s, so it's hard to like do better. Some women do. I've seen women do it, but
is it different
and women,
if
it's kind of like women can't go down in lifestyle.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's 5 relationships versus maybe 4 one-night stands and 1 relationship, does that make any difference, or is it just the amount of people that
I mean,
they've slept
the
with?
studies just base it on sexual partners. So think about this. That's an 80% chance of failure.
I've been with my husband for almost 20 years, but about 3 years ago, I was strongly considering divorce, and I want to talk to you about why. So I'm going to tell you the story of the day where I thought to myself, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. My husband and I had 4 kids. We both worked full time. We had been together for 16 years at this point. We've been together since high school. And on paper, I have an amazing husband. He is incredibly supportive. He's kind. He's loyal. He's a great dad. He's very hands-on. He's an active participant. He's always present. Like, on paper, what else could I ask for? But in reality, my experience is very similar to the experience of other women. I had this amazing husband who on paper was great, but I was incredibly frustrated and burnt out from our marriage and from motherhood. Because what happens to so many of us is that we marry these amazing men and we have amazing relationships, and then we have kids. And when we have kids, women tend to carry a disproportionate amount of the work in the home, the work of raising kids, and the mental load. And that is exactly what happened to us. About 3 months after my 4th baby was born, I remember looking at my husband and saying, I need more. I need you to do more. I am exhausted. I am in charge of everyone and everything in this house. Every night when we cook dinner, you ask me what to make. Every day when you drop off the kids at daycare, you ask me what they need in their backpacks. I am the project manager of this home and I need you to do more. And he looked at me and he said, okay, just tell me what to do. Right? Every woman has heard this. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I said, okay, something that would make my life easier is if in the mornings when I came downstairs with the 4 kids, because I do mornings by myself, the dishwasher was emptied, the dishes were put away, and the trash was taken out. That would make my life so much easier, because when I've got the 4 kids running around and the baby crying, I can't be looking for their favorite water bottle in the dishwasher. I just need to know it's clean. And he said, yeah, of course. What? Yeah, I'll do that. That's no problem. And so, of course, he does it. But then I have to remind him, and then he forgets, and then I have to remind him again. And there was this one morning where I woke up, and I went to put something in the trash and it was overflowing. And I went to get my son's water bottle and it was in the dishwasher with all the other clean dishes. And I felt so disrespected and unseen and unvalued at that point in time. And I remember texting my husband being like, what happened? Like, why didn't you do this? And he said, sorry, I was running late for work. And I remember thinking, oh my God, he doesn't see me, because what he's done has now made me late for work. And he doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about the impact on me. And he doesn't see how every single thing in our home happens because I ask him to do it, or because I do it myself, or because I planned and organized it. The diaper bag is full because I filled it, right? I put the wipes in there. And I felt so frustrated. And I remember thinking, what's the point? What's the point of doing this with someone else? I might as well just do it alone. And it's not because my husband didn't love me or he did anything to me. And it's not because I didn't love him, but because I felt so taken advantage of in our relationship. And this dynamic, it doesn't happen by accident, right? It's not like my husband did it to me, but we've been raised in this society that tells men and women who they should be in marriages and what it looks like to be a good mom versus a good dad. And we know the bar for moms is way up here and the bar for dads is way down here. And we fell into these norms. We fell into these roles in our family, despite the fact that we never wanted to. And I'm lucky, and I say lucky because I have a partner who I know loves me and wants me to be happy and was willing and able to change. And so we did the work to figure out what equity looked like in our relationship. And I can tell you now, 3 years later, that we are happier than ever. Our kids are thriving. Our home runs like a well-oiled machine. And that took a lot of work. I want to say it took like 18 months to get there. And it was well worth it. But it is not uncommon. And so if your wife is coming to you and she's saying, I'm burnt out by the mental load and I need you to do more, she's not just saying that because she wants you to do more chores. She's saying that because truly it can hurt your relationship. It can ruin your marriage if you do not participate in an equitable way in your home. And so what does that look like? What does it look like to change these dynamics? Well, we need to really assess in our homes what the work looks like. Because in most homes, the data supports this, women do a disproportionate amount of the work. They just do. They do more of the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry and the childcare while also working full time. And men have more time for things like their hobbies, like golf, for example, or just working out, running a marathon, right? And so we need to have hard conversations about what our time looks like, what our labor in the home looks like, what is invisible labor. We have to talk about these things. And when we don't, the alternative is that you no longer have a marriage, or you don't have a happy one at least. And so I share this story because I don't think I'm alone in this experience, and I want people to know that there's hope and that if you have a willing and able partner, you can change this. You can absolutely change this dynamic.
Why do all these women post their personal lives to the whole world as if anyone is interested in the slightest? Does this girl think, like I have to sit down and let total strangers know my plans and deepest thoughts? Thanks for watching Unplugged Kings. We provide commentary and our opinions on themes related to men and women, relationships, dating, and marriage. Like, subscribe, and share.